Welcome back to Across Louisiana. Thanks for joining us today. Always glad here on the show to get a visit from Capital Area CASA. They do such great work here in the community, and here to tell us all about the latest and greatest with them is Jennifer Mayer. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, this is such a great organization and one I believe in so much. I love the work you do, but for people out there who may not be familiar with it or how it works, tell them a little bit about it.
CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocate. I represent Capital Area CASA Association. We serve East Baton Rouge Parish, and we recruit, train, and supervise community volunteers who serve as advocates for abused and neglected children living in foster care. And the ultimate goal of a CASA volunteer is to help a child reach a safe and permanent home as quickly as possible.
You know, you hear about the phrase being home for the holidays, and that's
Yes.
just what some of these abused and neglected children need. They need a home for the holidays, and it's more important now than ever, right?
It is. Many children really look forward to the holidays and the gifts under the tree, but like you said, the children in foster care, they need a safe and permanent home more than any other gift. Every child deserves a safe home. And that's what CASA volunteers help to provide by being trained advocates to speak up for these children's best interests.
Obviously, this is a very generous community and one that loves to give back, and there's really no better way to do it than this. I mean, basically anyone can be a volunteer, right?
Yes, no special background is required to become a CASA volunteer. We provide thorough training, and even after you accept your first CASA case, you have a dedicated staff member who does supervise you. So every step of the way you do have assistance and support. No special background is required, and our first training course begins in January 2016. So now's a great time to come attend an orientation, submit your application, and get started.
You touched on it briefly. I mean, take me through that a little bit. If I'm somebody who is watching this now and I feel moved to act and want to take part in this, what's the process that I have to go through, and what's the training like?
The first step to getting involved is to attend a 45-minute orientation session at our office. That does not commit you to anything. It's just a good way to learn more. We have them at varying times of the day and of the week to accommodate different schedules. And so that would be the chance to, again, learn a little bit more and submit an application. Once you do that, you will go through a couple of different things, background checks and such, to get ready to go through training. And we have training courses 4 times a year, so plenty of different chances to get that in, and you learn about the child protection system, you learn about the kids that we serve, and what the role of CASA is, so that you're thoroughly trained and ready to accept a case.
So it's really a holistic, comprehensive approach that you have. You're not just throwing people in there blind.
Exactly.
They're prepared for what they're dealing with.
Yes, and like I said, even after that, you have a supervisor on our staff to help you through.
It should be noted that this affects no small amount of people. I mean, you're really making a difference in the lives of kids here in the greater Baton Rouge area, over 2,000 of them, right?
Yes, since our inception in 1992, Capital Area CASA has served more than 2,300 children, so it's a great number, and last year alone we served almost 250 children.
That's amazing. I would imagine for you in a position like this, it's got to be very rewarding for you to watch these transformations take place, both in the kids that are affected and really also in the volunteers, right?
It really is. It's a two-way street, definitely, and our volunteers, it's great to see that everyday people can be making this much of a difference in these kids' lives.
So again, tell me again when the training is coming up. I know people are going to want to get involved in that. We definitely want to have people take part in that.
The next training course begins in January of 2016. I can't believe we're almost there already.
Yeah. We
have orientation sessions on a weekly basis, and just visit our website at casabr.org for those dates and times, or give us a call at 225-379-8598.
It's a great way for folks in the Baton Rouge community to give of their time and make a difference. Thanks so much for coming on and telling us all about it, and continued success with the great work you're doing over there at CASA.
Thank you.
Well, you might know their name for physical therapy, but they're the first name in pelvic health too. It's Peak Performance Physical Therapy. Take a look, everybody.
Pelvic floor therapy is something that lots of people don't know about or know that they can get help for. It's a very sensitive subject. People don't really like to talk about it around here, about bladder dysfunction, bowel dysfunction, or any kind of pelvic pain. But it's very common for women, especially after having babies or in the menopausal years. So having a place like this is a very comfortable place for them to come so that they can get treatment for their pelvic muscle dysfunction, and we can really work to eliminate the bladder and bowel symptoms. So at the initial evaluation, We sit and talk where the patient tells me their symptoms, I get a good medical history on the patient, and then I explain to them the function of the pelvic muscles related to their bladder or bowel dysfunction. When we come into the treatment room, we use the biofeedback technology to get a muscle reading. We watch it on the computer screen, the patient watches it with me, we analyze the muscle strength, I show the patient, this is what your strength looks like, this is what we're looking for. We also look at resting pelvic muscle tone, endurance, coordination, and we do this each time the patient comes to therapy. When they go home, they do not have the technology, obviously, but they have homework that they practice. And then once they come back, we check and compare from session to session to make sure that we're giving the right exercises and that we're improving strength from as the weeks go on.
It was a friend of Lacey's, Lauren, and she was my physical therapist. And so we discussed, I was telling her about some issues that I had, and she told me about Lacey. And I said, you know, I'd really like to try that. And she told me a little bit about it, and I had some issues that I thought Lacey would be able to help me with. And consequently, that's exactly what happened. She was able to help me with a lot of things that had been on my mind and I'd been worried about. Because I have frequent things to happen to me and I didn't want to have surgery, in other words. And so throughout this sessions that we've had, it's all worked. It's been very beneficial.
Strengthening is, I would say, only about 50% of what goes on here though. The other 50% is education. I think it's extremely important to educate the patient on how the bladder and how the pelvic muscles work together so that you can use those muscles to retrain and to eliminate the symptoms.
She gives me a lot of information that I can use at home. Everything we go through, she gives me papers that have the instructions for things that I can do at home, the exercises I can do at home, and which is really beneficial to me.
Patients really feel so much better about themselves after coming to therapy. I have lots of patients who will come in and say, I can't go anywhere without going straight to a restroom. And then they'll a few weeks later come back and say, I went to eat dinner and I didn't even have to go to the restroom the whole time I was there. That's huge.
I'm at the end of it, the end of my sessions now, and everything she got me up to exactly where she wanted me to be, the percentage-wise. And so I'm good to go. I'm congratulating now. And that's what I'm going to do.
As an occupational therapist, it's a very rewarding feeling to know that you've changed someone's quality of life. And that's really what it's all about. We look at the computer a lot when we're doing our exercises and everyone says, what number do I have to, how strong do I have to be to get rid of my symptoms? And there's no set number. There's no set, if you contract your muscles and squeeze to 20 millivolts, you won't leak anymore. It's different for every single patient. It's specific to each individual. And when people are very dedicated to exercising and to and making the changes that are necessary, they see huge impacts. Their results are amazing, and they tell everybody they know now. They talk about it all the time because they feel like everybody needs to know about this place, and you've got to come to therapy. It helped me so much. For more information, you can look us up at peakphysicaltherapy.com or call us at 225-292-2526. The Peak Pelvic Floor Clinic is located on Jefferson Highway in between Bluebonnet and Airline. I really thought that this Bluebonnet Jefferson area was a great place to be to accommodate patients coming from all parts of Baton Rouge. If you come and see us at the Peak Pelvic Floor Clinic, I promise to help improve your quality of life, make you feel comfortable, and help get your life back.
We come back on Across Louisiana, find out the latest and the greatest from the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Don't miss it.